Hello, my name is Kevyn Connell. I'm the director of this reading of Marilyn Jaye Lewis's play, Tell My Bones, about folk artist Helen LaFrance. Like her paintings, the play unveils the story of a loving, rural family of characters surmounting the hardships of 20th century Kentucky. A descendant of slaves, Helen was born in 1919. Her life journey travels through Jim Crow, Kentucky, and 5 marriages that do not bear any children. Therefore, Helen fostered other people's children along the way. Some of her foster children bring her great joy, while others bedevil her, robbing her, and burning her house to the ground. Throughout the trials of life, Helen pursues the chance to paint at every opportunity. She finally achieves success as an artist at the age of 89, but then suffers a paralyzing stroke. This live stream performance is a cut version of a larger play. The ensemble of 10 actors generously portray the 20 characters in the story. What you will be experiencing is the result of a 5-day workshop giving life to this new work for the stage. Why are we telling Helen's story now? Because we need a story of survival and endurance and unconditional love. We need to better understand our history and to connect to those faces that lived that history, so we better understand ourselves today. Helen is our link. She is a prolific artist that needs recognition. She turned 101 years young just a few weeks ago, November 2nd to be exact. We tell her story to honor the life she is still living. Finally, I want to share with you the simple truth of Helen's own words. Sometimes something gets on my mind and I try to paint it. I just try to tell the truth. I guess I'm just good at it because it's what I like to do. I just thank the Lord that I have tried. Please enjoy our reading of Marilyn Jaye Lewis's play, Tell My Bones.
I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready, Lord, to walk in Jerusalem just like John. I made it, Granny. I'm in the sweet hereafter.
Miss Wanda, what brings you back to Mayfield after all these years? Don't tell me you're looking for your roots.
How's that?
But all those folks you do back then are long gone.
Only one left who can tell any of us about the old days would be Miss Helen LaFrance.
Oh, yeah, she's still alive, but she lives clear out of town.
Out where there's nothing but a whole lot of nothing. No one but the critters and the birds keeping her company. And that's the way she likes it.
She lives alone in a trailer now and paints all day in an old abandoned school bus.
Now imagine that. She spends all that time now in a school bus, but when she was a little girl and needed a school bus, they didn't have such a thing in Graves County. Yeah.
And even if there had been such a thing, not one of them would have taken a little colored girl to school.
You mean she's still painting those pictures of hers at her age?
Oh, yeah, that and then some.
But you better hurry now. She's not going to live forever.
I'm on my way to Canaan land. I'm on my way to Canaan land. I'm on my way to Canaan land. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. I'm on my way. No, I can't remember my granny going to anybody's funeral. Uncle Charlie now, he died, and she didn't go to his funeral. Aunt Josie died first, though. If I remember right, even when my mama died, Granny didn't go to her funeral either. Can you imagine that? Her own daughter's funeral, and Granny didn't go.
I guess it upset your granny too much when people died.
For me, after my baby died, it was like my childhood ended. It changed me.
Your grandpappy was called King Clay, right?
Right, that's right. King Clay Lagone II. Everybody call him King Clay. I love my parents and my grandparents both, you know. But my grandpappy, oh, he made the world special for me.
I am Helen LaFrance Orr. I was born in a log cabin on my parents' farm in Graves County, Kentucky. My mama said it was a very sunny Monday morning when I was born, on November 2nd, 1919.
She said she could she see a patch of sky at the top of the window. She was facing east, and she said it was a beautiful day. The midwife was there, my granny, my aunts.
My dad and my grandpappy were already out in the fields taking care of the cows, the horses, all of the animals. The harvest was already in.
I was born on before Armistice Day. So my mama wanted to name me LaFrance, you know, like Viva LaFrance. That awful war overseas was finally over. My Aunt Bobby told my mama, Lily Mae, I know you don't think that James is going to go for a name like that.
We are not naming this baby LaFrance. Lily Mae, what kind of name is that for a little girl? She talking about everybody named Helen. I'm not named Helen. Who wants to grow up with a crazy name? Life's hard enough, Lily Mae.
So my daddy put his foot down and he named me Helen. And then my mama named Leigh LaFrance anyway.
My daddy built that log cabin I was born in, and every day he worked that farm. He was a serious, hard-working man. I remember one day when I was about 5, after my mama had taught me how to paint, I was sitting out in the grass painting a picture of our barn. It was around noontime, and here comes my daddy back from the fields wanting his lunch. He said,
Little girl, what you doing out here? You, child, always painting, drawing, doing anything but helping your mama like I told you to. I'm breaking my back out in that field, bringing in tobacco, bringing in the cotton. I don't mind breaking my back in honest work because we are Christians here. But I do mind coming in from that field, knowing how hard your mama's working inside that house, and I see you, little girl,
Mama, help!
sitting in the grass on your fancy pants, painting a picture of the barn, like we don't know what it looks like. I ought to know. I built it with my 2 hands. What did that barn look like? Funny. I thought I remember a thing like that for the rest of my days. I built it with my 2 hands.
But what about your mama? She was the one who taught you how to paint.
Oh, yes, child, she sure did. My mama, now, she thought I had talent. She's been gone a long time. But she is indeed the one who taught me how to paint by mashing up berries and beets and using laundry bluing for my paints. And then she gave me twigs and tree bark to use for the brushes. I was 3 when she first taught me. And that is how I painted for the longest time. But soon it became hard to get paper with the Great Depression and all. By then, we were all living in King Clay Farm in our own house, though.
How's that?
My daddy took our log cabin apart, log by log and plank by plank, loaded it into the wagon, and then our horses pulled it up the road to Grandpappy's farm. And then my daddy put the log cabin back together again.
And why on earth did he do that?
Because of the Depression. They consolidated. Now, King Clay had a bigger farm, a nicer one. And that's where we all lived together till my older sister Leigh got married and moved away. And then Mama died. Mama lived most of her life on King Clay Farm. My mama, she used to put newspapers all over the walls of the kitchen, like wallpaper. During the Depression, when we couldn't get much paper, we would tear off a little of the corners in the newsprint from the wall where there was no words or anything, and then I could get my hands on a pencil. I would sketch. My granny was always so good to me, to all of us. But she asked me, please stop doing that. Shredding her walls. But for some reason, I didn't listen. I was just compelled to draw. Compelled. And one day, when I was supposed to be practicing writing the alphabet with my sisters, but I wasn't, I was off in the corner sketching on a piece of that wallpaper that I'd shredded off that kitchen wall. My daddy came up behind me. He pulled me up by my little arm and just whooped me good.
You're supposed to be learning.
Daddy, no!
Me and my daddy. Lord, it seems we was always locking horns. But little me could be so stubborn. And I was headstrong. When I was 11, my goodness, I was a handful. Our farm was right next to the white schoolhouse. And that Great Depression came quick and hard and mean, and those little white kids were so poor. When the school bell rang at the close of the school day, those white kids would hang like starving urchins on our split rail fence. It was usually about a half a dozen of them or so. And one afternoon, when I was 11, I was out pumping water at our well, and I saw those white kids. They made me so angry, just angry. My granny yelled out to me through the screen door, "Helen, you be polite. If those children want to come over here and play with you, they're alive.
Granny, they're just gonna eat us out of house and home is more like it.
You march yourself up here to this porch this minute, young lady. You tell me who in this house ever taught you to be so rude.
But Granny, they just want to eat our food. There's barely enough for us anymore.
What did Brother Morris teach you in church last Sunday? Helen, I'm a-talking to you. What did Brother Morris teach you about the miracle of the loaves and the fishes?
That there's always enough. The Lord provides, not me, not you, the Lord.
Now, I'm what's called a memory painter. I'm self-taught, and I paint from my memories, not from models or anything like that. Now, white folk have said to me, how come your paintings are just so touching, so beautiful? You was just a poor little black girl growing up in the Great Depression in the Jim Crow South.
Well, you were. It was still Jim Crow South when I was growing up here, and I remember it well. It wasn't fun.
And I said to them, I say to you right here, my paintings are beautiful because my life was beautiful. God made us, and he taught me and my family how to take the strength in the grace of his tender mercies.
But I know, but still, it's...
Now, don't you kid yourself, child. We had a good farm. Now, you put that down in that notebook. We had cows and horses and chickens, ducks and geese. We had a big, fine barn for our animals, and we grew tobacco, and we had a separate barn just for drying the tobacco. Then my daddy and King Clay would sell it in town. We had cotton, too. We did okay. Our farm was nicer than any of them white farms that were anywhere near our Graves County during the Depression. White folks don't believe me when I tell them that, but it's true. My daddy was a Christian through and through. The Lord provided for us.
You were blessed, Miss Helen.
Now, King Clay, he was an even-tempered man, no matter what was in the air. I love my grandpappy. He always made everything feel like it was going to turn out all right. After that whooping I got from my daddy that day when I was supposed to be practicing my letters, but I was drawing instead. King Clay, he heard all that fussing and crying and came in from the porch to the front room.
Who wants to go for a walk with me?
I'm supposed to be studying.
There's plenty of daylight left. You can study later.
We didn't have electricity, you know. So we had to study before the sun went down. Of course, we all wanted to take a walk with King Clay. Even little Ruth Adiella, who was practically still a baby back then. But out we all went, all four of us girls, following King Clay out into the dirt path and then up that hill into the spring fields. There was miles and miles of wildflowers back then. That's how I remember it. King Clay always told us the best stories as we walked all about life.
Now, my mama and daddies were slaves. They had the same owner, but they weren't allowed to live in the same cabin together. One night, when the moon was full and the night was clear, my daddy came to my mama's cabin. The Civil War was going on back then, and the South wanted all the black men to fight in the war on the side of the Confederates. And my daddy had decided to flee to Canada instead. He wasn't going to die in that white man's war.
My grandpappy, was so little, so shy, that he hid behind his mama's skirt right there in the doorway of the cabin as his daddy kissed them both goodbye and then fled from the shadow to shadow into the fields of shuck corn. Now, no one ever knew if his daddy reached Canada or not. He was never heard from again. It was King Clay who was talking to Walter one day.
Who was Walter?
Walter was another colored man who lived down the road from us, but he didn't have a farm. He worked on automobiles. King Clay said to Walter that they ought to be trying to put a vehicle together with some of Walter's spare auto parts, and so they could make a sort of a school bus for us. That way, none of the men would have to leave their fields each morning, hook up the wagons, and drive their kids all the way to Hickory County just so they could go to a real school, the colored school. And then back they go again and get them later in that day. And Walter did it. For an entire year, all us black kids got to go to school. We rode in that makeshift school bus made of salvaged auto parts. Mostly a 1928 Ford Model A station wagon and a Model A truck. And the steering wheel was on the right-hand side. And we really didn't learn much at that school, though. Come to find out, years later, that Kentucky had a habit then of teaching white kids and black kids very different things from very different school books.
It's all that Jim Crow.
Our so-called history books taught us about how much happier black people was than when they'd been slaves. They made it sound like it had been an idyllic time and that we ought to be nostalgic folk. You know, having the white man providing for us all our needs, letting us sing and pray on Sundays.
But you see, that's what I was trying to say before. It wasn't fair.
I know, but we had King Clay at home. We knew what slavery had really been about. I don't really know why they called my grandpappy King Clay, but they did. And he sure made the world special for me.
After my grandpappy died, my childhood was over. Life just got harder for all of us, it seemed.
Come January 13th, 1938, Mama died too. Harriet Lee was married already, so she rode the church buggy. But me and my two younger sisters, Audie Mae and Ruth Adiela, we sat together out in the open, in the back of my daddy's wagon, when my daddy and my uncle slid our mama wooden coffin right up there in there with us. Right into the wagon. She slid in right up next to the tip of our toes. I felt so empty then I couldn't cry. But I held on to my sisters. I held them tight. And at the church, Brother Morris assured the whole congregation that Mama had been a woman of profound character. Of charity and humility. My mama had taught me how to paint. She taught me how to cook, how to can anything that grew on that farm. She taught me how to sew and how to quilt. My mama had also taught me how to read and write and how to pray by using our family Bible for all of it. She didn't have time to teach me how to be brave, though. How to go out into the world and make my way all my alone on my own. I had to learn that there on my own.
Ezekiel said, "The hand of the Lord was upon me, and the Lord carried me out in a spirit and set me down in the midst of a valley, and it was full of
And
goats."
after Mama died, Daddy thought it was best for me to leave the farm. See, he arranged for me to live with the family in town and to earn my living as their maid. Now, they was colored folk too. Everybody in that part of town was. But that family had 5 children. And they was kind and all, but they barely had room for me. They gave me a cot to sleep on out there on the upstairs hall. I had no privacy, but they paid me a wage, and I bought myself a little pad of paper and a pencil at the general store. When all my chores was done, and when all the children were asleep, and their mother and father were off to bed, and all the lights in the house was out, I lay up there alone in my cot in that hallway, and with even so much as a slither of moonlight coming in that hall window over the top of the stairs, I just draw. It was my world then, just God and me.
Oh, my, it's Helen. I do believe I feel alive again. Miss Helen LaFrance. Woo! She troubled my waters, people. I could not keep my mind off her. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Miss Helen LaFrance. That's a pretty name. What brings you to town? You look like a farm girl.
I lives here now. I have a job.
Do you now? Well, isn't that some good news? Doing what?
I live in with a family. I help Mrs. Whitfield.
And when does Mrs. Whitfield give you a day off?
On Sundays when I goes to church.
I can see you're an angel, but surely you're not in church all day. What do you do after church?
I reckon I do's what I want.
Is that so? Well, maybe we'll do it together. What do you say?
I fell in love. His name was Elvis Lynn.
We met at the carnival at the edge of town.
I married him twice and divorced him twice.
He was only 19 years old.
I was 19 years old when he first spoke my name. I never knew my body could feel so filled with life. It was a beautiful night. He lit a cigarette, and that should have been my first clue that I was in over my head. You're not a Baptist. Now, that's what I said. And then he said,
No. Now, is that a problem for a girl like you?
what is a girl like me?
Pretty from the top of her head right down to her toes, and all those places in between I can't see yet.
Don't you ever go to church?
Only when people die or get married. Do you want to get married? Someday.
Behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee.
It's time to go to church, Mr. Lynn. That's what I said. And it was a simple wedding. But oh, people, what a wedding night. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble up the water. My mama had prepared me for, she did not prepare me for anything like this. Nothing like this Elvis Lynn. Oh, he kept me tossing and turning in that man's bed. He really was something fine. However, my dad didn't like him. And then there was Elvis Lynn's mother. My mother-in-law, she hated me. And when Elvis Lynn and I went anywhere, there she'd be, popping up and always tagging along with her cigarettes and her mouth, always picking on me. And my husband would not even stand up to his mother. She ruled over him like she was the cock of the walk, not him. When Elvis Lynn married me, he didn't want me to work. I was so excited about finally getting some time alone and to really draw and maybe even buy some paints if I scrimped enough on the household money. But my mother-in-law, she practically moved in. She was always there. For 10 years, she was always there. Elvis Lynn begged me not to leave him, but I left. Then he begged me to come back, and we married a second time. But it didn't last. I married his mother a second time, too, and it wasn't long before I left for good. I was 47 before I ran into Elvis Lynn again. When I saw his face, I knew I still loved him and always would. But people's stories get told. And after a while, you see how it's going to go. He died not too long after. He was standing in line to cash his pay and just died. Just like that. Somewhere in Illinois, far from me. In the water, gods are gonna trouble up the water.
My Lord, deliver Daniel, didn't my Lord deliver Daniel, then why not every man?
Careful, mama. Now let me help you.
John, is it summertime already? Time for the picnic?
It's time for the picnic, mama. Everyone's coming home.
Oh, goodness. Even Daddy and Mama came. And King Clay and Granny. How that happen, John?
No one ever misses the homecoming, mama. Now you know that. Are you hungry, mama? I mean, there's plenty of fried chicken and a potato salad and there's lemon pie, just the way you like it.
Not too sweet and not too tart. John, did you arrange all this?
No, mama. It's the homecoming. It happens every year.
But John, that's your real mama. How can that be? She died the day you was born. Belinda, it's me, Helen, over here, and here's your boy. Look how he's grown. I did everything I promised, Belinda. I took care of him for you. I raised him. Belinda, please. I did it for you. I did it for you. John, this doesn't make sense. We buried your mama when you was just 2 days old. Belinda, please. I kept my promise. I protected him from all them beatings, from that terrible man, that drunken uncle of his. I married that awful man in order to give your boy a home. I gave up my painting and a good job at the factory to keep my promise to you. He turned into a fine man. Won't you come see? Belinda, don't go. He gave me grandchildren, Joseph and Junior. See, Junior was the apple of my eye.
Hey, Granny.
Junior, no, my God, no.
Didn't my Lord deliver Daniel? Then why not every man?
Now, John, he gave me 2 grandsons, Junior and Joseph. Joseph was always a bit of a trial, a loner, even as a little boy. But from the day that Junior was born, he was just an apple of my eye.
Did you ever legally adopt John?
No. Who had money for all of that? See, after John was born and Belinda died, John's daddy took off anyway. And there was no one there to raise that baby except for me and his uncle, who I married because I didn't realize that he was just a no-good drunk. I thought I was giving Johnny a good home. But I stuck it out, and I raised him. And I loved him like a son. I did. And he has always just treated me like I was his mama. Then he went and got married, and he gave me them 2 beautiful grandbabies.
Granny, I weeded the garden for you. Looks like we're going to have a lot of peppers this year. Have you been picking them early?
Yeah. You know I love to watch them blossoms come. You're such a blessing to me, Junior. You know, you don't have to do that. I can still weed my garden.
I know you can, but I know you'd rather be in here painting.
Miss Helen.
Yes.
Well, I was just wondering if everything was okay.
Of course it is, Jab. What do you mean?
Well, what you said to me just now about weeding your gardens.
You don't need to weed my gardens. Junior here take care of all that for me.
Okay, well, now how did you happen to get this old school bus anyway?
It came with the land. When I retired from the factory, I bought this property out here in the country, and the trailer was on it. And the school bus was just sitting here. Now, it didn't run anymore, but I thought that it would make a perfect studio. See, the light's so good out here. I usually keep all these little windows open, and sometimes the little squirrels will come up and they visit me. And every once in a while, a little bird would perch right up there on that windowsill. I just love God's little creatures.
Were you expecting that white man from Mississippi today? He's coming up the drive.
Lord, is he here already? Well, I do got some of them paintings ready, but he wanted more, and I ain't finished him yet.
Who is it? Miss Helen. Is someone here?
Granny, you do paint an awful lot of pictures for that man. When do you get time to sleep?
When the sun goes down and the lights is gone. Come on. Come on, Chad, let's go speak to him.
Miss Helen. Miss Helen, wait.
Mister, yes, you right there. Now, right this way. Come on in. Have you ever seen such attention to detail, such meticulous attention? I'm going to tell you to look through one of those tiny windows there. Huh? Anyone, just pick a window, any window. Now, you tell me what you see. Look at the tiny people. You see all the way next to the county, that's what you see. And look at the people, hundreds of tiny people, 150 tiny people. Every one of them dressed and ready for church. How many cabbages you see over here, huh? How many rows and rows of cotton, rows of lettuce, and now cucumbers, melons, and how many bales of hay? Now, can you count that? No, sir, I say you cannot. But step right up if you want to try. A sucker is born every minute, and I say that in the nicest way. Now, how many chickens are up in this yard, huh? How many quilts are on the breeze? It staggers the mind, sir. Say, it makes it spin. And now, her use of primary colors. And now, her use of light. Take a look, sir. Those pickled jars on the shelf. Look at the jars of peaches. Now, where's that light coming from? I ask you, try to follow it. Is it the sun? Are there other windows somehow off the canvas we just can't see? Or is it lit from heaven? Now think, people, think very carefully. Now, who'll give me $2,500 for this painting? You, sir, with your wallet out, will you give me $2,500 for this painting? Sold. Thank you very much, sir. Safe travels, my brother, and don't forget to visit again. I got new paintings every 3 weeks. Hey, mister, yes, you. Well, Miss Helen and Junior, how are you today?
We're just fine, but I'm afraid you're early. I wasn't expecting you till Friday. I don't have them paintings completed yet.
Well, how many do you have?
I got 8.
8. Well, I see. And I really needed a dozen. I tell you what, I'll give you $250 anyway. And you just give me the other 4 next time I swing back around. Oh, and give me some more paintings of the barns and quilts.
More? I've painted so many of those already.
I know, Miss Helen, but what can I say? The people, they just eat them up. They love your paintings. And when I tell them you've never been to school, that you're self-taught, Lord, Miss Helen, they do eat them up. Oh, give me another one of those carnivals at night, if you would. Tell you what, I'll just go into the bus and grab those finished ones, if you don't mind.
Well, you just go right on ahead. You knows where they are.
What are you gonna do with all that money, Granny?
I'm going into town and buy more paint. What do you say we splurge and go out to dinner? Just you and me.
No, Granny, you save whatever money's left over. You work hard for it. If you really want to go into town and go out to eat, I'll pay. I've got a job at the factory now.
I know you do, but you've also got 4 little children at home.
They don't eat much.
Not much. Not much. I remember when you and your brother was little. My goodness, I never saw 2 little boys eat so much and never get fat. Remember when you was little, I'd take you down there to that river every Saturday and we go fishing?
I sure do, dear Granny. Those were special times. Just me and my granny going fishing. Joseph never wanted to come with us, did he?
Come on, Joe. Come fishing. It'll be fun. Stop acting like you have stuff to do. You always have stuff to do. It's Saturday. What is it you gotta do? You're always acting like it's none of my beeswax. I know what it is you do. You know, stealing stuff from the 5 and dime. I've seen that old shoebox under your bed, and I know what's in it. No way you could afford to buy any of that stuff. No, Joe, don't hit me. I just want to go fishing. Stop.
What do you say? Let's take a walk down to the river again, Junior. Right now. We haven't been there in such a long time.
You sure you can still make it? That's awful far.
Of course I can still make it. How old do you think I am?
My daddy says you're going to be 50 years old on your birthday. Is that true, Granny?
Oh, your daddy should know better. You're not supposed to tell a woman's age.
You know how old I'm going to be on my birthday?
I think you're going to be 11 years old.
I'm going to be 11 years old.
I have a surprise for you.
What is it, Granny? Is it for my birthday?
Yes, it is, honey. See, I painted a picture of that train you love.
Granny, it's my train.
I knows how much you love that train, honey. How much you love waving at that conductor every time he soars by.
I'm gonna get myself a job working on the railroad, Granny. Just you wait and see. Up in Louisville, the money will be real good.
I want to work on the railroad someday, Granny. Maybe even drive the train.
Well, if that's your dream, honey, then I'll pray it for you, and I know it'll come true.
Thanks, Granny.
And speaking of church,
Yes, I'm coming to church with you tomorrow.
good boy.
I wouldn't want to miss those hypocrites.
Pastor Frank buying whiskey from the custodian and hiding it under the stairs.
Junior, now you mind yourself now. What did I tell you about spreading gossip?
It's not gossip, Granny. I saw it with my own eyes.
I did. I also saw Miss Selby and Mr. Marsh kissing in the coat room.
Junior, you hush.
But it's true.
I know it's true, but let's not tell those tall tales out of school.
I love you, Granny. I miss you so much. We always had such a good time together. I never dreamed that I was going to leave you. Granny, no. I'm not ready to go.
Junior, honey, it's time for the evening train. It must be near summertime. Come on, let's hurry up. Now, we don't want your mama and daddy to get cross with you.
Can we wave at the conductor?
If we gets there in time.
Sinner, make no mistake. You cannot save yourself from the pains of hell if you continue to reject Christ.
I don't reject Christ.
Daughter, what's this we hear about you leaving the church?
There's not much to tell, Daddy. They asked me to leave.
Mama, you're the most devout woman in this whole town. Why on earth would the church ask you to leave?
We no longer seen eye to eye. Where am I going? What am I doing here?
But what did Brother Thomas teach you about the loaves and fishes, Mama?
John, this isn't about the loaves and the fishes anymore. It's gotten serious. See, I knows my Bible, but I don't think they've read it in a long time, and they call themselves a church.
Well, I don't know what Bible you've been studying, Miss LaFrance, but here in this church, we are on the side of common sense and not on the side of zealotry.
Well, I'm on the side of the Lord. John baptized Christ in the river Jordan, and we should imitate Christ and be his very seed. How did I get here? John, where are you?
Just what are you trying to say? It sounds blasphemous, Miss LaFrance.
Joseph, what are you doing here? And where's your cane?
What cane? I don't have any cane.
From the car accident. You can't walk without your cane. Your back, it never healed right.
The car accident ain't gonna happen till next year. You're just a crazy old woman, Granny. You know that?
Joseph, now you mind how you speak to me. You hear me?
Oh, I hear all right. I hear real good. I hear everything you say. To the bank, all the way to the telephone.
Joseph, now you scaring me. Now you stop talking about my money. You always talking about my money.
Mama?
John? Oh, thank goodness.
Tell me what happened, Mama.
With Joe?
No, at the church.
Oh, the church. They want to drip a little bit of water on somebody's head and they call them baptized. I disagrees. You need to go down to the creek to do that. Put the person in the water like Jesus did. Like they put Jesus in that water. And I told him so.
I bet you did, Mama. Something tells me you told him so loud and clear.
I just quoted from the scriptures. It's all right here in the book. I told them that they needed to get right with God and that they was hypocrites, blindly siding with one another all the time, speaking that gobbledygook instead of the scripture, breaking their vows with God. They got angry and they told me to leave, so I left.
Woe unto you, Miss LaFrance, for you are like these whitewashed tombs full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanliness.
What will you do now, Mama? I mean, a woman like you can't just sit home on Sundays.
I'll go to that other Baptist church and see if maybe I like that one better.
But white folks go to that church, Mama.
I know. But they got some black folks too.
Well, black folks are allowed to go, but I don't think any of them actually do, Mama.
Well, I'll let you know next Sunday because I reckon I'm going to be sure to find out.
Within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Wake up and step up and turn my water into wine. There is a quarter in it for any one among you who can. And you who I spy there in the front row, crisscrossing your 16-year-old white legs and flashing those underpants. Children of God, hear me out. It's getting hot as hell in here. All of you. Look at her, the little white devil, woefully in need of my secret sermons on how to become a pillar of Christ, or failing at that, my special little whore of Babylon.
Granny, I hear they kicked you out of another church, the white one.
Oh, no, they did not. I quit before they had a chance to.
What happened this time?
Just more the same. Everybody showing up to the church with short shorts and flip-flops. And this one over here sleeping with that one wife, and that one over there sneaking around the back with whiskey, and everybody knows it. No one has any respect for the Lord anymore. And I tell you what, I'm done with it. I'm done going to have my own church. I'm going to have my own church from now on, right here on my own land, and I don't care what people say.
Is that so? You want me to build you a church, Granny? I can build you a little shed or something. It'll be your very own church.
Would you do that for me? Would you really, Junior?
Of course I'd do that for you, Granny. I could build something like that in a weekend. And I could bring my kids over on Sunday morning, and we could sing hymns, and you could read to them from the Bible, like you used to with me and Joseph, if you get my kids to sit still long enough. But don't you worry. I can build you a church in no time.
A church of my own. It's something I've wanted all my life. Sometimes I feel like I've stolen these blessings God has given me with you. By all rights, you should have been Belinda's grandson. You know that, don't you?
I do, Granny. But God worked it out this way instead. You didn't steal nothing. You worked really hard. You were there when my daddy needed you, and I'm here for you. I love you, whoever you are. And I've got a surprise for you.
What is it?
I got me a job in Louisville, working on the railroad.
Junior, no. Really?
Finally. And I'll be away a lot, but I'll still look after you.
Pardon me, but are you Helen LaFrance?
I am.
You paint those wonderful paintings I'm seeing all over town?
What can I do for you?
My name's Gus. I live up north now, but I grew up around here. I'm just visiting, but I'm seeing all these wonderful paintings of yours all over the place. I'd love to buy one. What do you charge?
Oh, I don't know. Depends on what you want. About $25.
Well, $25? That's outrageous.
No, it's not, sir. A man down in Mississippi pays me $250 for about 10 of them. I'd say $25 is fair.
$250 for 10 of those wonderful paintings? My dear lady, you are being robbed. You give me 10 of those paintings of yours, and I'll come back to you with $10,000. Or I'll at least try my damnedest to. Your paintings are marvelous. They belong in museums.
I'm listening.
Do you have some sort of contract with that man from Mississippi? Anything in writing that you've agreed to?
No, I just paint, and he gives me money.
Well, how would you feel about painting and getting real money?
I might like that.
Well, then, let's make a deal. Right now. Give me any paintings you've got.
Granny, I'm leaving for Louisville. I'll be back in about a week.
You take care, honey. Be safe and have yourself a good time. Dreams are coming true all over Graves County. When you come home, we'll celebrate.
Okay, Granny. I love you. Goodbye. I wanna be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John.
Mama, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this.
John, what happened?
Mama, I'm sorry to have to tell you this. Junior's dead. He's been killed by a train.
John, what happened?
Junior's dead. He's been killed by a train, Mama. Mama, I'm sorry to have to tell you like this.
I painted that train. I painted it with joy. He loved that train. I gave him that paint for his birthday. And when he was just a little boy, I scrimped and I saved for that canvas and the paints too. And I gave him that train. He was crushed by that train. The apple of my eye, they crushed him. They crushed him. Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? My strength is all dried up. Thou hast brought me into the dust of death.
I made it to heaven, Granny. I'm here in the sweet hereafter.
Dogs, they encompass me. The assembly of the wicked encloses me. They pierce my hands and my feet, tear my bones. Tell all my bones, oh Lord, be not far from me. Hasten me to help me. Deliver my soul from the sword and my darling from the powdered dogs.
Oh, mourner. For mourners got a home at last.
Come on.
Joseph, I didn't see you there.
I've come to fetch you. We're gonna go to the grave.
No, Joseph, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
And Ezekiel said, "The hand of the Lord was upon me, and the Lord carried me out in a spirit and set me down in the midst of a valley, and it was full of bones."
My son John and his wife Mary and my 2 granddaughters and 2 of Junior's daughters drove with me in the car. And the highway took us past the green rolling hills and bridges, over the waterways and the rivers. And after hours and hours of driving, we came to the mightiest river of all, and the largest sign that I had ever seen. Welcome to Ohio. It was the same river that King Clay's daddy would have had to cross on his escape to Canada. And I had never been out of the state of Kentucky until it was time for one of my one-woman shows. I was 89 years old. And thanks to my friend Gus, I finally had success as a painter. Joseph, you here?
Hey, Granny, Miss Wanda.
Just think of it. A show all to yourself, and folks are flying in from all over. How exciting! Things are getting better now, Miss Helen. All the way around.
Well, I'm gonna miss my paintings, though. It'll feel so empty in here.
You'll just have to paint some more. There could be worse things for a painter than to sell all her paintings.
Thank you so much for doing this, son.
I don't mind, Granny. I just want you to have a good time. I'll look after everything while you're gone.
Do you still have that bank card that I gave you?
Yes, Granny.
Now, you use that to buy groceries or if anything else comes up. Now, I don't want anything coming out of your own pocket while you here. And if anybody stop by asking after a painting, you get their names and their phone numbers, all right?
I sure will.
With God's blessings, I'll have to paint a whole crop of new paintings when I get back from Ohio.
You sell all those paintings, Miss Helen, and you'll be able to open up that gallery you always wanted in town.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with all that money, Granny? If all those paintings sell, you're going to be rich.
Oh, don't know that they all gonna sell. I guess we just gonna have to find out.
$50,000. Well, that's a whole lot of money.
Hey, your mama's talented, but she's clean out of paintings now. So you take her right home and make sure she starts painting some new ones right away. You hear me? Give her plenty of coffee, okay? And don't let her sleep.
Don't you worry. I won't.
You tell her the money will be in her bank in a few days. I'll drive out and see her at the end of the month. We can look into getting her that gallery in town.
Well, this is a dream come true for her. Thank you so much.
I was happy to help.
She waited her whole life for something like this. Now my son Joseph, he's going to help her set up the gallery. Now it'll give him something to do. His whole life's been on hold since that car accident. All he does anymore is mope around and drink.
And that was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. Every one had 4 faces, and every one of them had 4 wings.
Mama, Joseph's come back. He's come back home.
He has?
Yes. And I hate to be the one to tell you this.
Come on, tell me, son. How much worse can it get?
He's got himself a new car. And all the rest of your money's been lost on the riverboat.
It's all gone?
Yes, Mama. It seems he bought himself a nice car and then drove down to one of them riverboat casinos that leave out of Mississippi, and he lost everything.
You mean to say first he robs me, now he's gambled all the money away?
Yes, Mama. I'm so sorry.
I never cared much for Mississippi, you know. What do you mean all my money gone?
Your grandson transferred it all to the other bank to start your gallery. You're over with Southern Trust now.
I am not. There's no other bank. This is the only bank.
The money's not here anymore, Miss Helen. He had all the documents. You signed them.
I never signed anything.
Oh, no, Miss Helen.
Miss Helen!
Oh, Miss Helen! Someone call an ambulance! Miss Helen!
And the Lord said unto Cain, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
You, sir. Yes, you. Step right up. Take a look in the mirror. Me, son. Yeah, that's right. I'm the mirror of your soul. Oh, what's the matter, friend? Can't you hear me, or are you afraid to look me in the eye? Afraid of what might be reflected there? Which version of you'll find? No matter. I'll tell you which one. The loser. That's right. You're a loser, son. A dope. Your petty thievery has killed the goose. The one that laid all those golden eggs. Oh, the ones that didn't hardly cost me nothing. Your goose is dead, boy. But I still got access to all the eggs. All those patents, I'll find them again. They'll surface. They always do. And I'm going to buy and sell, whatever the market will bear. And what do you got, son? Oh, I'll tell you what you got. You got a liquor habit and a bottle of pills. And you're a lousy gambler to boot. Step right up, folks, and see the exhibit. I got golden eggs here, sir. Golden eggs made all the more golden through the courtesy of my inebriated friend here, who killed, that's right, killed the golden goose.
This ain't the five and dime anymore, Joseph. Look what you've done.
Junior, don't talk. Never knew what it was like to be practically crippled, to be everybody's afterthought, to not be the apple of anyone's eye. I did what every right-thinking man would do. Look out for myself, finally. I tried anyway. But I wasn't good at that either.
A man. Is that what you think you are? Sorrier than a lost dog, that's what you are, Joe. And now, you know what Granny is going to do? She's going to love you anyway. Critters matter to her. Lost dogs matter to her. But I'm going to be waiting for you, brother of mine. Make no mistake. Maybe you'll be forgiven by God. Maybe Christ already forgives you along with Granny. But me, I'm waiting here for you, Joe. And I'm going to show you your whole life. The choices you made instead of the ones you could have made. It'll be on your head for eternity. And now, you have taken some of the beauty right out of the world. You know that? Do you know how much that weighs? Talk about yoke around your neck. But this one won't be easy, Joe. It won't be light. And it's eternity I'm talking about.
Oh, just go fishing, why don't you? Never knew what it was like to be me.
Miss Helen, what are you going to do?
What can I do but sit here? My pain's all been sold off and my money all gone. I can't move my arm and my right side is paralyzed clean down to my toes. I'm going to lose my gallery and it's only just opened. I lose my house. I've been 90 years old come November.
I know, Miss Helen. But I meant, what are you going to do about Joseph?
Nothing.
But you deserve restitution. You've lost everything.
Restitution? From where? From what? A stone? That boy is the one who has nothing. He needs serious help. It's between him and God now for all the rest of his days.
But, Miss Helen, that boy robbed you of everything. And now, even the use of your right hand, your career, it's over. And it's his fault. He deserves to be punished somehow. Not only is your money gone, but your best paintings and your ability to paint.
Don't you tell me what I should or shouldn't do, or what I can or can't do. I'm going to paint again.
You'll paint again?
God will see to it. And God will see to that boy too. It's God's business to work those miracles and to define restitution. It's not your business. And it's not mine. I thought you knew better than that. Now you just
Right.
leave me be. God gonna handle this. I'm tired.
All right. Miss Helen, I do apologize, but this God of yours, it seems that so much injustice gets by him.
I said I was tired.
But why don't you ever see it? This God of yours. I've known this God too, and I grew up here too. You know. And not on some nice farm either. I grew up right here in town. When I was a little girl, I wasn't even allowed to on the sidewalk if a white man was walking by. I had to step aside. He had to have the whole damn thing.
Chad, you watch your mouth.
Miss Helen, I'm sorry, but I don't know why this doesn't make you angry. This is not just some painting that makes other people feel good about your life. This is your life. Your grandson just robbed you blind. Everything you worked for is gone. You'll never paint again. You're back at square one and you don't want to see it. It just seems to me that it's that all your life, well, you just blocked out everything when it suits you. And you say it's up to God.
I said I'm tired.
When you first got your gallery here in town, and that day we went out to lunch, do you remember what you said? You said that you couldn't believe that we were allowed to eat inside this restaurant now with the white people. You said that, Miss Helen.
So
it means you know. You know, Miss Helen. You know that some things just are not right and ought to be put right. You know it. You went to a Jim Crow school like I did. You lived in this Jim Crow town like I did. You know what happened to some of our neighbors, our relatives, people who went to church. What does God have to say about those things? I'm just saying that I don't know how you can overlook all this stuff that God's supposed to be in charge of. All of us down here.
Damn, Doc, it's all right in their place, but I'll tell you, what is their place? Well, I tell you, brothers and sisters, their place is in the canebrake, hanging from a cedar tree sometimes.
Jump, Jim Crow, jump, Jim Crow. Take a little twirl and away we go. Slide, slide, and paint your toe. You're nasty as a devil when you jump, Jim Crow.
Oh, stop the bidding. You, sir, what do you bid for this fine young buck? 400? Do I hear $400? I hear $400. 410. 410. Going once, going twice. Sold for $410. Now, what do you give me for this fine? Oh, wait. Now, this one's lame, with a tendency to mix pills with liquor. He's not the apple of anyone's eye. Now, don't waste your money, boys.
Stop! Enough!
it's so easy to see what's wrong with the human race. It's easy to fear, to flee, to accuse, but to heal in spite of it, to push through the field and recall the beauty and the love, to sense what is high when you're in the pit. That's why I painted. It doesn't mean I didn't see, but every morning when I wake up, I brings my imperfect humanity right along with me, child. And on the morning when that is no longer true, Well, then maybe I'll cast the first stone. The hand of the Lord was upon me, and the Lord carried me out in a spirit and set me down in the midst of the valley, and it was full of bones. And ever since I was 20 years old, I've been trying to draw them visions of God from the book of Ezekiel. And out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures.
I received a phone call from the governor's office. We're going to Frankfurt, Miss Helen, to the state capitol. You're being honored with the governor's award. They've even managed to bring together a collection of some of your old paintings, some of the ones that sold at your one-woman show. They're going to exhibit them for the event.
I hadn't seen him in such a long time. Not since my show. Not since my show.
The Kentucky Governor's Awards in the Arts are the Commonwealth's highest honor in the arts, recognizing extraordinary and significant contributions.
I hadn't seen these here paintings in such a long time.
We are not naming this baby LaFrance, Little May. Life's hard enough.
I know. Miss Helen, I feel as if it's my life too that we're looking at. I know these places and I feel like I know these people.
We are honored today to place Miss Helen LaFrance, folk artist, in our gallery of great Black Kentuckians. Her life and her work are testaments to the highest caliber of excellence and commitment.
You look awful pretty in that homemade dress, Miss Helen LaFrance.
We hope this can also help raise awareness of human and civil rights here in the Commonwealth.
It's okay for white kids to sit next to our colored girls then. It's okay for them to eat together and sit side by side then, in our kitchen, at our table, our food. But when it comes to learning, no, sir, they can't sit side by side then. Then it's against the law, and the law is the law.
To help recognize the achievements of our African Americans, such as yourself, Miss LaFrance, who have been neglected in traditional histories of the state.
The Civil War was going on back then. And the South was going to make all the Black men fight in the war on the side of the Confederates. And my daddy had decided to flee to Canada instead. He ain't want to die in that white man war.
Someday, I'm going to drive one of these trains. Granny, I'm going to be a conductor.
And so, Miss Helen LaFrance, we are proud to bestow upon you today the Kentucky Governor's Awards in the Arts.
Oh, congratulations, Miss Helen. I'm really just so proud. I am. In the spirit of everything I said, all these stories you told me, they're part of me too now. Along with all your paintings, they do help me to remember something that was so good.
Thank you, precious child. Now take me back to see my old friends just one more time.
Yes, Miss Helen.
And go slow. Child, go slow. Because I might not never see them again.
You know, I knew so little when I returned here that day to Graves County. I had no idea then that this was the story that had my name on it.
Whose story am I going to tell now, Lord? It seems I told everybody a story but my own. And now what am I supposed to say? That my daddy didn't want me to paint? That it took me 50 years to find out the time and get the money? And now the money's gone, and I ain't got nothing left but time. There was a man in Galilee. He made up his mind one day to go to the temple in Jerusalem, even though he knew that his days was numbered. Who am I to complain? My next journey is just the beginning. Dogs encompass me. The wicked, they enclose me. They pierce my hands and my feet. Tell my bones. Tell all my bones, people, what you think it looks like to be me.
I am Helen LaFrance Orr. I was born in a log cabin on my parents' farm in Graves County, Kentucky. My mama said it was a very sunny Monday morning when I was born, on November 2nd, 1919.
I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready, Lord, to walk in Jerusalem just like John. Oh, some come crippled and some come lame, walk in Jerusalem just like John. Some come walking in Jesus' name, walk in Jerusalem just like John. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready, Lord, to walk in Jerusalem just like John. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready, Lord, to walk in Jerusalem just like John.